Hello there, you beautiful people, and welcome back. So what we learned in the last video was that if you have a global variable, you can use that value inside of a local scope, and Python's going to be totally fine with that. But until you try to change that global variable, at that point, Python's going to stop you, and it's going to create its own local variable inside the function with the same name. So here, where I had b equals a plus 10, that's fine because Python is going to say, oh, okay, he just wants to use that value and save it use it and save the answer somewhere else. That's fine. But here they're trying to redefine a, it's allowed, but what Python's going to do is it's going to create a local variable called a, and that is completely different from the global one up here. Now that's the default. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually use this, how you can actually basically overwrite a global value from inside a function. And the way that you can do that, if you absolutely want to, is to use the global keyword. Okay, and let me just up here, I'm going to type global a. And I'm going to say a equals 100. Now, I do need to have two separate lines for this. I can't say global a equals 100. Okay, I have to say global a to let Python know, hey, I'm going to change the global variable called a sometime soon. Then I do it. I say a equals 100. And then I print a. Okay, so what's going to happen is we start off with an original global value. We say Python, we're going to change it, watch out, and we're going to set it equal to 100 and print it. And then let's just show you what happens. Okay, so what we see is we get 100, 50, 100. And the reason we got the 50 in the middle, okay, actually, let's just start from the top. We had a global variable called a, okay? We then say to Python, hey, I'm going to change it with this global a statement. We then change it to 100 and print it. Now in function 2, because we didn't type global a, the same rules apply the same default rules apply, I should say, in that Python is going to see that you're trying to overwrite a global variable. And it's going to protect itself and it's going to stop you from doing that. Okay, so this is just going to create a local variable called a inside the function f2. So this is going to be local. This is going to be the global value. Okay, we then print. We then do f1, which is going to print the global value. We then do f2, which is going to print the local value. Then we print the global value again, and we see that. We see the global value as 100. It's been changed in function 1. We then print the local value of 50. And again, we print the new value of global A. It was 250, but because we changed it in function 1, it has now been changed to 100 down here. So I hope that makes sense, okay? By using the global keyword and defining what variables you want to access, you can override the default protection. And bear in mind, you can't write, again, I know I said it, but you can't write global A equals 100. Okay, if I do that, it's going to say invalid syntax, and it's just not going to run. You have to type global A and A equals 100. Now that will work. So there's a slightly special case of these rules, and that's when you use lists or dictionaries. Okay, so let's say I change A, instead of being a number, I change A to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this, that global statement, and I'm going to just say in here, I'm going to try and set A to be 10. Okay, we're going to see that, as usual, the global value is protected. Okay, because it just will. We can't overwrite the whole list. However, what we can do is, without using the global keyword, I can change a little piece of it. Okay, so let me say I want to change the first number to 5. Now watch what happens here. You can see that the first value has been changed to 5 in function 1. Function 2 stayed the same because we tried to overwrite the whole list, but you can see that the global value has also been changed just because we overwrit a little bit of it. And we didn't have to use the global keyword. So do watch out for that, because that can trip you up, and it's strange behavior, and it works the same for a dictionary. So do watch out for this when you're working with lists and dictionaries. And awesome, I mean, that's pretty much everything you're going to need to know about variable scope. However, it can be confusing, so let's just have a nice recap of what we've learned, okay, in the past few lessons. The first thing you learned was that there are 2 types of scope, okay? You know, there's 2 types of scope. There's global and local. Now, Python functions create local scopes, okay? But loops and if statements don't, okay? Just the functions do. And you saw that global variables are visible everywhere, and you could define a variable called A in the global scope, and everything inside the local scopes will be able to see it. And they can use that value as well. They could print it out if they wanted. So let's say if I got rid of this, we could, as usual, print it out. And that's going to, every local scope can access the global functions, global variables. The difference is you can't overwrite a global value from inside a local function, or local scope, sorry. And what happens instead is Python, if it sees you wanting to overwrite a global value, it's going to block you unless, and it's going to create a local variable with the same name, unless you use the global keyword. So let's say I type global A, and I said A equals 100. This is going to now overwrite for everyone the value to be 100, and we're going to see that that's going to propagate through all 3. Now, the exception to this is when you're using lists or dictionaries, and they also do not let you overwrite the whole thing, but without using the global keyword, you can, in fact, overwrite a little piece of it. So I could say A0 is 5. And that is going to, as well, change for all 3 functions. So I hope that makes sense. It's quite a lot of stuff to take in, so don't worry if you have to rewatch these videos a few times if you're still a bit confused, as it is a rather confusing topic. Just watch it again, take good notes, and try it out for yourself. I mean, that's the best way to learn it, right? And I'm sure you'll have a eureka moment sometime soon. And it's well worth learning this properly rather than skipping it and ending up confused for hours and hours when your program breaks or does something unexpected in the future. So just spend the time now, get the concept down, and you'll thank yourself later. So if you do feel comfortable with all of that, next we're going to be coming on to the difference between function arguments and function parameters, which is a critical thing, and it's very important you need to know about. So I'll see you in the next video.